Safety, quality, productivity, cost, and people form the basis for the guiding principles on which we operate the DAC Americas Columbia site. Safety is recognized as a business core value and is the basis for all that we do. At the Columbia site, our work is never so urgent or important that we cannot take the time to do it safely and in a way which prevents our associates, customers, and community from being negatively impacted by our safety, health, or environmental performance. The DAC Americas Columbia site is divided into 3 major production areas: the monomers PTA manufacturing area, the legacy PET resins manufacturing area, and the Integrex PET resin plant. Additional areas on site manage raw materials and other services such as power, steam, water, waste treatment processes, and railcar usage. The site also hosts several Eastman chemical manufacturing facilities, primarily specialty polymers. Our mission at the Columbia site is to produce and sell product that can be manufactured, transported, used, recycled, or disposed of in a safe, environmentally friendly manner. In doing so, we will achieve world-class leadership in safety, health, and environmental actions. There is no margin for error where safety is concerned, and each individual is responsible not only for his or her own safety, but the safety of everyone on the site. This concept of individual and collective responsibility, coupled with the belief that all accidents are preventable, is our guiding principle. The goal is 0 incidents through proactive programs that prevent safety incidents of any kind. As a visual reminder to employees, visitors, and contractors who visit, there is a safety climate flag in use and displayed on site. The flag illustrates the site's recent safety, health, and environmental performance. Our goal is to keep the flag green. When an incident or area of concern occurs, the flag will turn yellow or red according to the severity of the incident to alert site personnel. Safe practices in most instances are common sense. It's up to each one of us to work in a safe manner and to be our brother's or sister's keeper. Safety has to be a personal responsibility. At the Columbia site, we are proud of our safety achievements. That's why everyone who works, visits, or is contracted to this site follows our safety regulations. If we all know and follow these safety rules, everyone benefits. Should you have any safety concerns or questions while on site, you should direct them to your host, escort, or facility contract coordinator. Upon entering this site, everyone must register with a security guard and receive a gate pass. This pass must be worn at all times while at the plant. When leaving the plant for lunch or at the end of the day, make sure you return your pass to the gate guard. There are a few rules to follow when driving inside the plant. Any vehicle entering the site will receive a vehicle pass, which may also highlight safety criteria and a map of the facility. All drivers must present a valid driver's license. All traffic regulations must be followed while driving on site. Pedestrians always have the right-of-way at all times, and the speed limit is posted as 20 miles per hour. Eating and drinking inside a vehicle is not allowed while on site. Seatbelts must be worn when driving a vehicle on site. Keys must be left in the ignition of a vehicle at all times in case it has to be moved in an emergency situation. Only authorized personnel can operate a DAC Americas vehicle. Trucks that require a forklift to load or unload materials must turn in their keys to a material handler until loading or unloading is completed. All trailers must have wheels chalked when being loaded or unloaded. Parked vehicles must be kept away from exit doors and emergency equipment. Vehicle engines should be turned off and not left on or idling when not in motion or use on site. Extra caution should be taken by all drivers at railroad crossings. Railroad engines have the right-of-way at these crossings, and vehicles should make a complete stop at all crossings. Wearing the proper clothing while in the plant is important for everyone working at DAC Americas. Be sure that no barebacks, midriffs, or tank tops are worn. All shirts must have sleeves, and short pants are not permitted in production or administrative areas unless they are part of an official uniform such as FedEx delivery. Secure shirt tails, scarves, and bandanas while in working areas. Neckties must be kept confined in your shirt while in operating areas. The importance of proper shoes cannot be overstated. Safety shoes, ANSI Z41 approved, are required in all working areas except the laboratory, which requires safe shoes. All shoes shall be constructed of smooth leather with no holes of any type on the tops or sides. Canvas and suede are not allowed. While jewelry is nice to wear, it has a potential to provide a real safety hazard if worn while working in operations areas. There are certain regulations that must be followed. Wristwatches may be worn as long as they do not possess continuous bands. Earrings may be worn as long as they are post type. Necklaces, bracelets, dangling jewelry, hoop earrings, facial piercings, finger rings, or other hand jewelry will not be worn in operational areas. Operational areas are defined as follows: monomers, PET legacy, PET Integrex, raw material areas, silo areas, maintenance shops, labs, powerhouse, and any service complex. These items of jewelry are allowed in administrative offices, conference rooms, training rooms and facilities, designated walkways or sidewalks, roadways, company-owned and/or personally owned vehicles. DAC America's employees and contract partners entering operational areas to perform meaningful work will follow these regulations. Visitors who enter operational areas solely for an area tour and do not perform meaningful work may wear tight-fitting jewelry and must maintain reasonable safe distances from operating equipment while in operational areas. All loose jewelry, such as necklaces, must be removed prior to entering operational areas. Check with your site escort or host for further safety requirements prior to entering operational areas. For your personal protection, hard hats, ear protection, and safety glasses with side shields must be worn in all operational areas. Note that the stamp Z87 must appear on the frame of your safety glasses. Clip-on flip-up sunglasses and non-prescription shaded glasses may be worn outside and solely during daylight hours. If during your visit you have to carry out an activity which requires gloves to be worn, be sure to use the right kind of glove. Gloves shall be worn whenever you are handling equipment or working with tools. As with any major manufacturing operation, workplace rules are in place to protect everyone. Weapons, guns, switchblade knives, mace, and the like are not allowed on this site. Cameras, tape recorders, video equipment, and other items of this type are also not allowed on the site without proper approval. This includes cell phones with built-in cameras. The possession of or being under the influence of alcohol or drugs is strictly prohibited. Horseplay, scuffling, defacing signs, or destruction of plant property or any other type of unsafe act will not be tolerated. This includes running inside the fenced area. Use of personal or business cell phones by visitors, vendors, contractors, and employees is not permitted in certain manufacturing or production areas on site. These areas will be identified by the orange warning signs prohibiting cell phone usage. Consult your host or field contract coordinator for guidelines for cell phone usage outside of these restrictive areas. Eat and drink only in office areas, the cafeteria, or designated break areas. The Columbia site is a tobacco-free campus. No smoking or tobacco products are to be used on site. A Material Safety Data Sheet, or MSDS, must be given to the DAC America's job coordinator for any chemical that is brought onto our site. The coordinator will ensure that the MSDS is reviewed and approved by the Safety, Health, and Environmental Manager. All chemical containers must be labeled in accordance with OSHA Hazard Communication Guidelines. This site uses the National Fire Protection Association's 704M marking system for the identification of hazardous chemicals. Blue is health, red is flammability, yellow is reactivity, and white states specific hazards such as do not use water. After completing your job at the site, It is your responsibility to remove all chemicals that were brought onto the site and to coordinate removal of any waste from the job with a site environmental team to ensure compliance with hazardous waste regulations. Report any and all chemical spills or releases to the DAC Americas coordinator immediately. 3 types of personnel evacuations can occur at the Columbia site, including localized, limited to a single building, regional, multiple buildings, and plant-wide. Your host or escort on site are responsible for being familiar with these procedures and for your safekeeping and accounting, should an evacuation be required. In the event of an emergency, plant-wide warning systems will make the appropriate announcements 3 times. Affected persons should shelter in place or report to one of the nearest evacuation points on site. Buildings 14K01, 15M01, 17K05, or 17M08. If the alarm sounds, all visitors, vendors, delivery personnel, and subcontractors will walk to the evacuation shelter that is closest to where you are located at the time of the alarm. Your host or facility contract coordinator will assist you in locating the closest shelter. Once at the shelter, please check in with the DAC coordinator and await further instructions. If you have driven on site, do not drive your vehicle outside the fenced area during the evacuation. Truck drivers on site should refer to the pager assigned to them at 13th Street Gate and notify the gate guard, who will record that they are safe and accounted for on the gate log and provide instructions. Let's review some of the important safety procedures to follow while at the DAC Americas Columbia site. Register and receive a pass from the gate guard. All chemicals must be approved before bringing on site. Remember to follow all vehicle regulations. Wear the proper clothing and personal protection while at the site. Weapons of any sort, along with recording devices, are not allowed on site. Don't horseplay. And in case of an emergency, walk to the closest shelter point and check in with the DAC coordinator. Your host or facility contract coordinator can assist you in the location of the closest shelter point. Our goal is to make the Columbia site as safe as possible with a commitment to have and maintain an incident-free workplace. At the Columbia site, safety and the well-being of every employee is a core value. It's up to all of us to work in a safe manner and to look out for one another. Safety is a personal responsibility.